You're listening to Tassie Encounters Moments on Faith FM, and we're coming to you from Tasmania, right across Australia. Each weekday at 9 a.m, you can hear what the Bible says about past, current and future events. You can learn how to study the Bible more effectively. You can get to know who God is, why we're here and where we're going. And you can experience personal encounters with Jesus. I'm your host, Jason Cook, and today we have David Leo joining us after quite a break, about 7 or 8 weeks, I think. So, wow. Good to have you back.
Good to be back.
Yeah. What have you been up to, David?
A whole heap of stuff. I feel like the year just started and now we're here in May. It's crazy.
Maybe I should have said, what haven't you been up to?
Yeah. It's been a bit of a trip. Yeah, mostly been involved in youth ministry things. Been in and out of the States as well. And last week we just had a thing that I'm trying to introduce to the youth calendar in Tasmania. It's called Fun Day, Adventure Fun Day. And adventurers are just kids from about 4 years old to 9. And we start introducing them to the concepts of Pathfinders when they become 10 to 15. And we just have a day of them learning about, nature and things like that adventurers do, and just having a ball, just playing games and letting them have run right, and some food stalls and fundraising and
sounds good.
Yeah, some animals. It was fantastic.
Now, David, part of your responsibility down here in Tasmania is to look after the children's ministries, the youth ministries, and are you also in family ministries?
Yeah.
So you've got a fairly big portfolio there.
Yeah.
But that sort of goes well with the sort of topic that we're going to be talking about this week.
That's right.
Relating to parenting. Family things. So, we've got a title for you this week of Major Influences of Our World. And, David's got some interesting thoughts. I believe that you were able to attend, or you had a guest speaker come down and,
that's right,
and present.
Rachel Turner was her name. I think earlier in the year, maybe it was the last time I was on the program. I shared some stuff that she talked about the five ways of sharing our with our child spiritual disciplines with our children, and she did 2 talks here. They only were an hour each, but I took her from south to the north and got to spend more time with her, chit-chatting, and had lunch with her with the chaplains here, and I got to learn more things while I was around her. Excuse me. And one of the things that really fascinated me, and I asked her about it, I can't remember how old I was, but I was old enough to distinguish that times had certainly changed. There was a comic where, just a cartoon comic that showed these teachers, it said, in the past, and the teacher is telling the parents how their child's misbehaving, and then the next square, the parents are scolding the child and saying, you need to behave and blah, 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 blah. And then it said now, and it showed the same slide, the parents telling the children, the teacher telling the parents how their child is misbehaving. And the next square shows them telling off the teacher and saying, and I thought, whoa, is that what's going on? And I had a hunch that that's what's going on. But I asked one of the guys at my church, who was the principal of a school there, and I showed him the comic, and I said, what do you think of this? And he just laughed. He said, it's true. And I'm part of the generation where I was the past. When the teacher spoke to my parents and said, this is what David's doing. Well, I got it when I got home. I was like, whoa, far out. And I asked her the question, well, what do you think? Where did this come from? Where's this understanding that, the teachers are responsible for the child misbehaving and not doing the right thing? And she said, oh, wow. She says, that's an interesting question. There's a whole, there's a whole history to it, which is what I want to talk about today. So if you saw major influences of the world on the podcast and you thought, oh man, he's going to be talking about YouTube and social media, and you've come in, no, I'm only talking about, how parenting has been outsourced. And what does it mean? What does it mean when we're talking about, outsourcing parents, parents outsourcing major responsibilities? Because when it comes to teaching, when it comes to parenting, what do you think the major, if you just name 3 things what would you say are some of the major things that parenting, because we could probably do a whole list of 20 things, but if you were to name 3 things, what do you think parents are solely responsible for?
Solely responsible for? Well, I think for the financial and the physical needs of the child.
Yes.
That falls on the parents,
Yep.
typically.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of. I've got a third one. I wanted to finish off with, I guess instilling the core values and principles and faith concepts as well.
So, faith concepts. So we're talking about teaching values because this is Faith FM. This is a Christian radio station, Seventh-day Adventist to be more specific, but we definitely believe in passing on the values, right? So if we're to outsource teaching values, there's discipline, and there's the physical needs, as you mentioned. There's also emotional support, right? That's a big deal. What do you think is what would you say those things are? Values, discipline. I don't think there's a that we can outsource feeding them, sheltering them. I can't see.
I mean, it does happen in the cases of sending kids off to boarding schools.
Interesting. That's it. Yep. Well, you pay for it, don't you? But yes, that's interesting. You said that. I hadn't given that much thought. But what would you say is taking the place of teaching values?
I think there's a lot of influences, as the title says.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Influences of social media and media itself.
Yep.
I think that's a huge thing that instills values in kids. Teachers at school,
okay,
as well.
Yeah. So you're now starting to tap into where I'm going with the discussion this morning. The outsourcing of parenting has gone from screen time, right? The values that are being taught. There's a show actually recently on Netflix that actually went had so much power in it that the government discussed it, and it was about a 13-year-old child. The show starts with a 13-year-old boy who is accused of murdering another girl in her class, and you find out later on in the show the name Andrew Tate is mentioned, right? And it's pointing out that he was influenced somehow by, and the father and the mother are shocked about what's happened to their son, right? So outsourcing, you've mentioned school, we mentioned screen time. Here's another big one. And my wife and I did this as well with our second child. We use daycare. When we're both working, daycare becomes part of the people instilling values in our child, where we should be the major primary ones instilling the values. You mentioned
teachers.
Yeah. And here's something else, right? My daughter, my second child that I just mentioned, she's 14. I saw her for half an hour last night, right? So, maybe an hour, because I dropped them off at school in the morning, right? And during the day, she's at school. She's got volleyball after school. Then she had Bible studies at the school, finished at 6:00. She got home. I asked her, how was your day? How was Bible study? Bible study was really good. And then I went to do my Bible studies at 7:00, right? And by the time I'm done at 9:00, my kids are asleep, right? It's like far out, so extracurricular activities is something else that takes the place of the upbringing of the child. Yeah. So,
and I think there's been a shift even in my lifetime as a parent. When my kids were at school, I think my major influences would have been the childcare and the schooling, because social media and media wasn't really a big thing then.
Yeah.
The kids didn't have phones and, didn't have social media accounts, but as they got older, that became part of it. But now that media influence and what they see on YouTube and other things seems to have had a greater influence.
Yeah, big time. You're absolutely right. And here's the thing, right? When it comes to emotional support, and you and I are not immune from this as well. In our teen years, our adolescent years, the emotional support that we usually got were from our peers, but our parents were a major part of that stability, right? Keeping us grounded, keeping us, on that understanding what's going on around us, and even that emotional support coming from peers is even communicated online as well. right? So it's not the emotional support that we're familiar with, that we've come from, and that's something else that's been outsourced. And so when we look at this, my major point that I want to get to is, although parenting is being outsourced, it's important for us to claim it back, because for anyone that's in my generation, I am not immune from the device addiction. You know, like I just mentioned you last night, you're talking about some person that was quite that's influential right now in speaking around universities, and I just came across her last night, and I was interested in what she said after the Bible study, and I just wanted to listen to 3 or 4 minutes of what she had to say. I listened to the whole 45-minute lecture, you know, and so I'm not immune to this either. So we've got our children that are in on it, and if we're both sitting, and this has happened in our home, there's my wife, my son, and myself, and we're all on our devices together in the living room. And I thought, this isn't right.
But all doing your own thing.
All doing our own thing, all in our own worlds. And this is and as parents, our son should have been engaged with us, you know, and I said, hey, this is uncanny. Let's put our things away and let's do something together. Let's have fun, you know, together. And, you know, my son said, oh, I like scattergrees. Let's play scattergrees. So we did, you know, like, but I was thinking, this isn't right, you know.
It reminds me of a verse, David, which is, this has been a verse that's been in my mind for a long time. It says, train up a child in the way he should go, and even when he is old, he will not depart from it. Amen. Proverbs 22:6. Yeah. I think that's what we're really talking about this week, isn't it? That there is a responsibility of parents to instill values and beliefs and all sorts of things, behaviours and values and morals, and, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is a real responsibility of parents. We shouldn't outsource it to everyone else.
No, that's right. Correct. And what a sad place to be when we do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This program is made possible by the support of Adventist World Radio.
Our book offer for this week is called Guide's Greatest Faith Stories by Laurie Peckham. This book is packed with faith-boosting stories. As you read and retell these stories to family, friends, and anyone who needs a faith boost, you'll find your faith will be strengthened too. The 25 stories in this collection will encourage you and strengthen your faith, and you can even share them with your children too. So it's a great little book. I think it's suitable for all ages, but certainly great for kids as well. So we do encourage you to text in our code for this week, and the number, our show number on Tassie Encounters is 0488 880 891. Text in the code TEM27. TEM27, that's Tassie Encounters Moments, and the number 27. No spaces. Text it into 0488 880 891. Well, do join us again when tomorrow we talk about biblical parenting. So thank you for joining us today, and may you encounter Jesus more today and each day. This is Matt and Josie Minicus with Treasure the Moments.
It's 2 in the morning and I'm holding you in my arms. Soft glow of the nightlight showing the curve of your sweet baby cheeks. And I'm tired as tired can be. Been doing this for weeks, but I'm sitting here thinking as I look at you, better treasure these moments. Treasure these moments, 'cause all too soon you'll walk, you'll run, these precious sleepless nights all gone, and I'll be missing you. These days I thought would never end have flown by, and I'm wondering, how did they go so fast? What I'd give just to have you back here in my arms again. Being a mama is not what I thought it I look at you, better treasure these moments. Treasure these moments, 'cause all too soon you'll walk, you'll run. These precious sleepless nights are gone, and I'll be missing you. These days I thought would never end have flown by, and I'm wondering, how did they go so fast? What I'd give just to have you back here in my arms again. Oh, so I'll look into your face, not wish the days away, not even the hard ones. This is sacred space. So treasure the moment. Oh, treasure these moments, 'cause all too soon you'll walk, you'll run. These precious sleepless nights are gone, and I'll be missing you. These days I thought would never end have flown by, and now I'm wondering, how did they go so fast? What I'd give just to have you back here in my arms again. Oh, what I'd give just to have you back here in my arms again.
This program has been made possible by the support of Adventist World Radio.